Welcome to Around the Bases, the pop culture and sports podcast with your host,
Charlie Seymour, alongside with Trivial Pursuit champion.
Tim Sternberg. Hit it, Nick. And we're back. Wow. Another great episode. Charlie, what's up, buddy? What's going on? What did you just say?
Had to change the intro just a little bit there. Sorry.
Oh man, wow. Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, my episode of Trivial Pursuit aired tonight. It's always wild to watch myself on TV. It never the first time it's like always crazy. I'm like, how am I gonna look? Am I gonna look stupid? You know? Oh
So how did it
man,
feel to watch yourself on TV
it
again
was
for what,
fun.
the sixth, seventh time?
I have to tell you, this fifth time, I have to tell you, this experience was probably the most comfortable I've ever been on a game show. I don't know, you probably could tell. I was pretty much having a ball and in my groove and
You were in the
just
zone.
I was definitely zoned in and I had a great time. The episode, so what'd you think, first of all?
It was okay. It was very cool. The stage, the
Let's see.
setup. Remember, I had said we hadn't watched yet, so this was our very first episode
That's
watching.
right. So
So
what'd you think of the
the
show
setup is
overall?
real cool. It looks cool. Like they do a good job with the wedges and the colors, and it's well done. I can see why it's very well regarded and gonna make another season, and it's being watched and all that noise.
And I mean, it also has the legendary host LeVar
Yes,
Burton.
of
I
course.
mean, let me tell you. So in between the break, I went up to him as I was waiting to go. Well, I'll back up to that point in a minute, but so I played against two awesome co-contestants, Melody from LA and Rich from Philadelphia, and just had the most amazing time. Just awesome people. For
And let's not and let's be make sure we mention that Rich won over six figures on the chase. So that was a big
yeah,
opponent.
Rich Colble, Rich, shout out, heads up, dude. Rich is an attorney, very intelligent guy. Won over 250,000 or 250 exactly $1,000 on the chase, was on Jeopardy. A smart dude. Melody also very smart. Up against two very smart opponents, and
Yeah, you
yeah,
had your work cut out
it was a
for you.
battle, right? It was down to the last question, basically. The rich would have to either get it right or not, and yeah, you could see my
How,
reaction.
how did it feel not having the fate in your own hands at the end there? That was probably the toughest part,
It's
right?
nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah,
Because
because you it's out of your hands. You can't control it.
listen, I answered an Aerosmith question right. Once I answered that question right, it was riches to win, and it just things happen. Sometimes you know questions and sometimes you don't. I didn't know some questions. I mean, it works out that way. I was very surprised because I fully expected Rich to go on to the bonus round because he's absolutely brilliant. So kudos to you. Hats off, Rich. You played a great game, my friend. And yeah, I ended up in the bonus round, and I got some tough questions. Well, what I thought were tough. I don't know how other people are perceiving the questions, but some of them were ironically answering Elon Musk for an answer. I mean, who knew at that time that this was going to roll into something
Right.
really crazy? But yeah, yeah. Oof. I do remember.
What was your biggest you were happy you got right, and what was the your toughest? Oh, I should have had that one.
Well, the most surprised I think I was because I took an educated guess was the chief in the Pacific
Seattle.
Northwest, Seattle. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was I wasn't a positive. I'm thinking what well, two of the biggest cities in the Northwest is Portland and Seattle, and I'm kind of going back and forth, and talking with Rich after the taping. Rich is like, yeah, I should have buzzed in with that Seattle because he's thinking, and we're talking like, yeah, because you don't get penalized for guessing wrong, so it doesn't
Right.
pay not. So I was sitting there going, well, I'm gonna buzz in Seattle, and luckily I got right. I think the most significant question I answered honestly was the Aerosmith top 40 song on the Billboard charts and Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yeah, I even mentioned the movie and I didn't get bonus points for that though. Like, I tried to
Yeah,
say,
right.
oh yeah, from Armageddon. Well, I love that movie. I actually probably my favorite Ben Affleck movie other than Good Will Hunting, but but yeah, I love Armageddon. So yeah, I think that question the thing I was worried about the most, honestly, Charlie, was the bonus round because, I never want to come off as ungrateful. And, it was really a tough bonus round. And I lucked out to get three answers right towards the end to get some money because the first 30 seconds or so, it wasn't looking so good for me.
Yeah,
Um,
you got two of them real late and one like right around the 30-second mark or something like that, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and of course, of the three questions, one was Billy Joel, Christy Brinkley. That was like, oh yeah, Christy Brinkley. So if for those of you that don't know, my wife and I are huge Billy Joel fans, so I know that video over and out. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was 5 months ago, but yeah, just
I
got
bet
to
it doesn't
watch it.
feel like it though, right?
It doesn't. I mean, it was just a great experience. So that's some first base, let me tell you.
Yeah, then honestly, I think we probably working backwards because that was a home run right there.
Oh, dude, thank you, man. I
Yeah, you
appreciate
killed it.
you.
That was a lot of fun to watch.
I'm glad you liked it. It was a lot of fun to do, and it was actually a lot of fun for me to watch. I'm literally watching it going, wow, you're having a good time. And that's like the best. Like, I was smiling and happy, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
You were the last one standing. You could say you were a survivor.
I can. I was a survivor. I wanted to tell you real quick. Boom, boom. We're gonna go into Survivor next. Before that transition, though, I just wanted to tell you real quick. In between, the second round and the bonus round, when I was talking to LeVar Burton, I had a moment to talk with him, and I said to him, I go, I just want you. And I don't want to get emotional, but I said, I just want you to know that you are my hero from my childhood. I grew up on reading Rainbow. I grew up on Star Trek: The Next Generation. I just want you to know how much I love you, I respect you, and I appreciate you. And he just went like that. And it just was like, I'll never forget that moment, that
Yeah,
exchange. So
he's awesome.
that's he is just an awesome person. So yeah, cred to and kudos to LeVar Burton, the great legendary LeVar Burton.
Then you
Um,
got a picture with him as well.
nice screenshot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So dude, all right, you did the transition. Let's get into it. Survivor. Oh, I was a little bit ahead of you this time watching the show, and I was
You
like,
were.
boom. Although, as you said, what did you tell me? You said it was a very highly edited towards a certain person
Yeah,
leaving.
I think it was about no more than 8 or 9 minutes into the episode. I turned to Rosie and I said, "I think Gabe's going home."
When I thought I got it right. So they like to do this passive aggressive stuff sometimes in the editing. And when he said he was referring to the challenge where he talked Sam into giving away
Shot in the
his
dark.
chat in the dark, and he was sitting there all cocky in the confessional going, yeah, I think it was a good move. I convinced Sam to get rid of his shot in the dark. And at that moment, I go, oh, he's going. He's gone. I knew right then and there that he was gone.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I still foresee Sam and Andy being final three in the final three. I
I
don't know. I
mean,
have this feeling.
it's certainly looking more and more plausible with each.
Definitely Andy. I mean, Andy's in with everybody, dude.
And right now, yeah, right now, neither of them are chopping block number one, enemy number one.
No, they're all eating each other other than them. Like it's just although there's one person who is out. One of them is out for Sam. I forget her name. because
Oh
Sam's
yeah.
been lying to her. I'm terrible with
It
it, but you
was
know
yeah, it's either Rachel, I think it was
Rachel.
Rachel.
It's
Yeah.
Rachel. Yeah. Rachel is sick and tired of Sam lying to her, so she's like, I need to get him out sooner than later. So
Yeah.
who knows? Kyle, can we talk about that real
Keeps
quick?
winning.
He is the
We mentioned
hunter
that
of
could
the
be a
season, isn't he?
we mentioned that could be a
Oh,
problem.
they messed up last week. They should have gotten him out when he didn't have immunity.
One of these rainy days, you can make a super edit of all the episodes where we've said, when you don't take them out, when you have a chance, it's gonna cost you. I mean, how many times? I feel like this has happened
Tons.
tons of times
Big
on
Brother, too.
Big Brother and Survivor, and any show that has a voting. Like,
At
you
least
have to let the
Anonymous,
big voices.
they got rid of what's his name when they needed to, when they should have, from Big Brother, right? I mean, here's the thing. Uh, if you're on this show, you know who the threats are. At some point, and I remember old school Survivor when they got into past the tribal portion, where there's multiple tribes, they started getting rid of these strong guys because that's who you need to get rid of in order to not and have them get immunity and overthrow
Yeah,
the game.
there was never a time where we would have someone win 4 or 5 challenges because after they won two of them, the first time they didn't win, they voted them out.
Yeah, I mean, they made such a mistake last week, but I believe truly, I don't think Kyle's gonna make it to the end. As soon
I
as Gabe
mean,
went out last night, and that was a very, very smart move, and we'll talk about it.
yeah, that was
And
Kyle's shield.
he had to go. And I was surprised though, in the vote recap, I don't know about how you felt, that
Yeah,
Kyle
I did
voted
not see
for
it
him.
going 7-2.
Can you believe Kyle voted for Gabe? He literally said in the episode that I'm afraid to vote for Gabe because then I'm going to be seen as the biggest threat. Well, newsflash, buddy, you already are the biggest threat.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think the vote more than anything just shows that he kind of knew no matter what he was going, so he'd rather be on the right side of the vote, which you know, I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Like I see it both ways. Like you could argue it as a good and a bad thing. So
it's almost like for me, that's always like holding up a white flag saying you surrender. I don't
yeah,
understand that.
I
Like,
wonder if it was closer in vote. Like if he didn't think that it was going 6-3 even without him, he said, yeah, well, what the heck? It's 7-2, 6-3. There's not much of a difference there. But if it was
mhm,
maybe going to be 5-4, maybe he wouldn't and hope someone
maybe,
else would flip. But to me,
maybe.
he probably knew that 2 or 3 other people had to change their mind, and it wasn't gonna.
And Sue can't stand him, and Sue is part of his group. So I don't think Kyle is long. I think they're going to probably in a next episode or two if he doesn't have immunity. But then again, I don't. That dude has skills. How do you like? It was
Does
like
he have
Hunter
something
last
in his
season.
pocket?
I don't know. I kind of feel like he
Because
does.
a few people did. Gabe did, but his expired. I think Rachel still does for sure.
Did he look at the like didn't he look during tribal council at the camera kind of like, or they did how sometimes they do a shot of them when they have the idol and they're not going to use it, or how they do that kind of pondering, like looking at them, like thinking whether or not to use it.
Yes,
I feel like he does. Maybe he does and we don't know it because no one has found idols. We haven't seen any idols found,
because I
which
feel
is
like they found him a bunch of them early, and they've just kind of been
yeah.
holding them.
I'm so confused about that too.
I'm trying to see if I can find something that has, because I know that there hasn't been a successful idol played in like over 2 seasons. I'm pretty. It might just be Rachel. Rachel might be the only one that has one.
Okay. I love the fact, by the way, incidentally, while they were, doing the negotiation for the rice. So anyway, everyone gave up their shot in the dark for the rice. Sam didn't want to do it, and then Gabe convinced him. You remember you texted me the commentary when Sam, Gabe convinced you, and what did he say?
He said, "Sure."
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think Gabe really convinced him, but Gabe felt like he convinced him.
Honestly, it was the only move Sam could make. You at that point socially, you cannot deny
He,
people rights.
yeah, exactly. He
Tough,
explained
it's
it.
a tough
He explained
position.
it.
Yeah. So, it was, it's so good. I don't know what I was thinking not watching Survivor for so long. These last two seasons I've loved.
Yeah, it's gonna
And
make you go back and
I
want to
think next
watch a few
season's
of the
gonna be
other
great
recent
too.
ones.
Yeah, definitely. And we're two seasons away from 50. That's gonna be a woo.
Yeah,
I was telling one of our mutual friends, Mike, we were talking about, oh, what game show you want to go on next or what reality show. And I said, honestly, I'm on this journey for weight loss, trying to lose the weight. If I can get healthy, I would absolutely try out for Survivor. Why the hell not? I mean, why not? You like your pizza, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I would do Survivor. I
that would
really
be
would.
awesome. That
I
would be
really would
awesome.
do that. So can you imagine?
That would be nuts.
It'd be like the Rudy Bosch of season 51 or two.
Or the
uh,
Sioux.
the suit, yeah. The rats and the snakes. You remember that? No, it's old school,
Just
but
tell
you know that
everybody.
everyone
Just
knows
tell
this.
everybody that you're 45.
Yeah.
Although for you to make it equal to Sue, you'd probably have to tell everybody you're like 23.
That's true. Oh my God. Oh, dude, I love Survivor. So, I mean, you do have some villains on Survivor every now and then. Speaking of villains, ooh, that
There
was
you
a
go.
forced transition,
There you
forced a
go.
little bit, but
No,
House of
that was
Villains.
good. That was good.
Can I tell you, I'm not talking about the city. I love New York. New York is so entertaining to me. I enjoy her. Like
Hilarious.
she makes me laugh. She does some of the things that she says, and I was gonna type it to write it down, but I was still recording and doing stuff regarding Trivial Pursuit. I didn't have a chance to do it, but my God, she is so good.
She is
And
very, very funny.
how about the line from Joel? This is why Traders is so popular. He keeps referring back to Traders.
Yep, he did. He dropped a couple of those tonight. Yeah.
So the episode was pretty edited to very strongly towards the two nominees. Well, first of all, we'll rewind. At the beginning of the episode, they have the challenge where they have to caption these pictures. They did this in season
And
one.
you had just mentioned about very funny, New York being very funny. They were the opposite. That
Not
was
funny.
no, and
Horrendous.
I
That was a
no, it was
horrendous
very
challenge.
bad.
So
And
bad.
I thought the funniest part of that entire thing was the cast and crew and all that knew how bad it was. So they literally fast forwarded through multiple rounds, and you literally just saw them go A B C. Now that they deserve
That was funny.
that was funny. They were at least laughing at themselves.
Yes. Oh my God, dude. That was so bad. And if I remember the first time they did this, it was actually pretty hilarious. I remember
Yes,
it
the
being
last one
funny.
was so much better.
Yeah. Like, what are these people thinking? And so, by a matter of, I guess, circumstance, who wins the
Default
challenge? Default. Uh,
Safari wins.
Safari wins.
And
And
it all comes down to the last one anyways, so
I mean, Safari won probably because he has some alliances in the judging panel, and well, no, you don't know who's
they don't know
person.
who says
That's
which. Yeah,
true. That's
they're
true.
random.
But so
But it
Safari
was
won by default.
yeah, it was not much of a competition. I mean, there were two or three of them that they were all so bad that I didn't genuinely didn't know which one they were gonna pick. There were a couple of them where two of them were horrible and one was at least, you chuckled. So you knew that one would win. But there were a couple of them where you genuinely would thought, okay, who are they gonna pick here?
Yeah, me too. I was like, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I was so disinterested in, in that challenge. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just like oof. And Joel McHale is probably one of the funniest comics out there right now. This is his show, so I'm sure he was cringing at so much of that. Um, so
Yeah,
so
that was tough.
Safari wins. Yes, it was very tough. Safari wins the challenge, and the whole editing is strong on Victoria. Very heavy on Victoria. I don't know what they're gonna do. Well, we'll explain why. Um, and Larsa, Victoria and Larsa, I think were like, I mean, because they're the nominees, but still like very heavily edited. I
Yeah.
knew. I mean, I could tell Victoria was going.
Yeah, they wanted you to think it was gonna be Larsa, but
So Charlie says to me, Charlie texts me, I'm watching it almost in like I'm definitely behind you. And I'm like, oh, I'm watching the elimination and oh, we're voting off Victoria. And I was like, oh, okay, great episode. And Charlie says to me, Tim, did you notice how much time was left in the episode? And I'm like, hey, what? So I'm like, Erica, give me the remote. I take the remote, I pause it, and there's like 10 minutes left in the episode. And I'm like, what is happening? And Charlie is dropping these bombs in chat, like bomb, bomb. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And
and
Charlie,
you
tell
thought,
tell
oh,
them what happened.
it's just that Larsa's gonna go home instead or something. Nope.
What happened, Charlie?
So end of the episode rolls around, and Joel says, "All right, you guys line up in order of most villainous to least villainous, but you guys decide all by yourself. Go ahead, talk about it, whatever, go." And you knew right away that there's going to be something to do with it.
You
And
didn't want to be at
who
the edges, right? That's the feeling
and
I
who
got.
and who have we been raving about always on every show, always knowing what's up, always Wes.
Wes
Here,
Bergman.
here we have again, speaking of Safari, we have Safari way on the end, on one of the ends. And Wes shoots him these dagger looks, like Safari. He shoots him these dagger looks. Then Safari looks at him, realizes it. Then in his cutaway goes, yeah, I noticed Wes over there staring at me. And I realized, you know what? Maybe I should listen to him. Maybe I should go in the middle over there. And then he leaves to go to the middle. Then there's a little more moving back and forth. And then what happens? Joel says, surprise, double banishment. But
What?
they don't say anything else. So we're led to, okay, most villainous, least villainous,
I'm
probably
the least
safely in the middle,
villainous.
like Wes thought.
I think the least villainous is going. I think something's going to come up to the fact that this show is called the House of Villains, and if you're the least villainous, you can't be on the show anymore, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Or will they
the
really,
lowest two will
really
be
mess with
voted.
it? Or really mess with it and go most villainous? See ya. Which
Ooh.
that was Candy, right? I believe Candy ended up furthest left.
Yes.
So it could be interesting.
And Candy fought for that spot
Yeah.
with New
Can you
York.
imagine?
Oh my God, New York and Candy. I'm gonna say right now, I think Candy, I think New York is the most villainous, honestly.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they producers brought her back for season two.
Yeah.
She is gold on that show. She is unbelievably funny.
There's this one shot that she did a few episodes ago that they've shown in like 3 or 4 straight episodes where she's like on top of the stairs holding onto the banister and she's screaming down at Teresa and she's like just like going in a circle. They've shown that same clip like every episode for let's see if they do it again next week, but they just keep showing it. It's so
Hilarious.
she's hilarious. She's very funny.
It is so funny. Oh my God. So yeah, now we have to wait though. It's after in December, I think, is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think there's
December
yeah,
5th,
because we have
Thanksgiving.
everybody's off for your birthday. Oh, Thanksgiving.
They're not off for my
I thought it was
birthday. They're
I
off for
thought it was your
Turkey Day.
birthday. I thought it
It
was your birthday, national holiday.
is. Well, no, no, it's not. I do get to, I don't know how much turkey I'm gonna eat because I don't eat much but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
So you think least villainous is the double a limb,
I think I think the two least villainous are gonna like be voted out or like voted on.
and they're gonna vote right then and there again?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have an elimination without a vote because it's no fun not to see them flip on the chair.
That's true.
Yeah, so
That's true.
I don't know. We'll see. They're very smart. So they must have known they were going to go on a 2 week hiatus or something because that's a pretty good cliffhanger. I
Yeah,
don't know. Um,
it's weird because House of Villains is off next week, as is the challenge, but Survivor is still new. So,
you know why Survivor's new, Charlie? And let's go back to that real quick and talk about it because I don't like this. Survivor, for folks who you don't know, announced that for the first time ever, they're splitting the final episode, the season finale, into 2 weeks. I don't like that, dude.
but it's not the same amount of time over 2 weeks. It's like double the time.
What do you mean?
So normally you have the so right now you've got hour and a half episodes, right? But the finale usually is 3 hours with a 2 hour finale and then the 1 hour where they talk and do the thing after. This time I think it's a 2 hour week and then a 2 hour. So there's four total hours for the finale essentially instead of three. So I think there's actually 1 hour of extra gameplay in there.
So, knowing what we know about production and about how these things work, it tells me there's a lot of decent footage in that finale. It's probably a whopper of a finale to do
Yeah,
that.
it must be. Or maybe they started with one extra person and just, it's final four over the last instead of final three. Who knows?
I mean, I won't object. I mean, because, the finale is normally a bunch of eliminations happening. So, I mean, as long as we get at least one elimination per episode or
And
something like
it's
that.
and it's been a great season. So for now, I
Yeah.
think it's fair to give them the benefit of the
All
doubt.
right. All right. I will. All right.
It's fair.
Let's talk real quick about there is a lot of if you don't mind, if there's a lot of rumors going on that um it's up to the Yankees and the Mets with Soto. I'm seeing a lot of kind of push now, heavy push on a lot of these sports writers thinking that it's probably going to be the Mets that get Soto. So, and the Mets are pushing really, really hard for him.
I think we felt pretty confidently that the Mets are the favorite.
Yeah, with the Yankees a very close second.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, Hal Steinbrenner and Steve Cohen battling it out. I would want to be the person they're battling out over. I mean, that's a two pretty big wolves going after Soto there for the
well, did you
money.
see who the latest team to show interest in Juan Soto was? And this is why I
Yeah,
always say, you can you just can't help but laugh.
Boston Red Sox,
They're one of the teams that has a confirmed me had a meeting.
Dodgers had a meeting,
This is a team that does not have a meeting but has interest. So not one of the confirmed meeting teams
and
yet.
it's
So
not the
yeah,
Blue Jays that we talked about.
correct. They're one of the meeting teams. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, Phillies. Those five have meetings.
what
Or no,
league are
Phillies
they
were the
in?
sixth team. The
Is
other
it
team
American
was
League or National League team?
it's a small market
Well, that
American League
helps.
team.
Tigers.
Right division, wrong team.
The White Sox?
No, God,
Oh
no.
God.
No. The
Jeez.
White Sox already have had a successful offseason. Their number one target, which I'm saying very sarcastically,
Oh, so Bobby
Austin
Witt's
Slater.
team, the
Yes,
Royals?
Kansas City Royals
Oh
are
my
correct.
God.
So come on. I mean, everyone knows that
There's
he
no way
cannot
in heaven
sign.
he's
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
Kansas City.
It's
He
just
first of all, he's a city guy. He's not going into the middle of the
yeah,
country.
there's no,
He,
and it would be cool to see. Don't get me wrong. Like if the Mets don't end up with him,
well, yeah, then
then that's a good landing spot, I
that's
think,
great
for
for both the Cubs and the Mets to have him
exactly,
in the
exactly.
Royals.
Exactly. And then he doesn't go to the Yankees or the Dodgers, one of those teams, or even the Red Sox or the Phillies. So like,
I don't
if
think the
there's
Red
a
Sox are for
random
real.
team to jump into it as a Cub and Met fan, if he goes elsewhere, which no matter what he's going elsewhere as a Cub fan, but as a Met fan, there's worse teams that if you don't get them, right? So we'll say, okay, fine,
100%.
Royals. Royals, you're in the mix. Will they get a real meeting? We'll see. But
I'm going to say this. I think it's 40% Mets. I think it's 30% Yankees. I think it's 10% Dodgers and 20% everybody else.
I think you came down a little on your last percentage.
I did.
You might
To be
have.
realistic,
You
you did
might have.
that to me. You kind of got me a little off my
Yeah.
cloud.
No, but I think that it's still 40% versus the league, the field is a
I
pretty big favorite.
in my bones, I still feel he's going to be in New York somewhere. He's going
Me
to either
too.
be a Yankee or a Met.
Me too. So and
Strongly
you
feel
have
that.
70% New York, 30% elsewhere. I think that you might be pessimistic on those odds. I'd raise slightly a little bit. I'd say closer to 80-20, 80 New York.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
go I'll go 45 Mets, 35 Yankees. That's 80.
and
Then that
nothing would
leaves honestly, I think it's even higher than that.
and nothing would
I'm
pleasure
gonna go
either.
90 New York, either New York team, 10
I like
Yankees.
that. I
I'm
like that.
going 50% Mets, 40% Yankees. Now we're at 90. Then the other 10% you can
I
mix it
think
up. I'll
I think
throw
that's
like give the
appropriate.
Jays 3%. I think the Jays are a real wild card.
I think they are. I think they have a great team.
I'm
I
gonna
could
put the
see him
Dodgers
wanting to
below
go,
them though.
and I think he has a good relationship with Vladdy Jr. So I could see that
Give
as
me
a
Blue
positive.
Jays 3, Red Sox 3, at least 4%. Give me the Dodgers for 2 and then 2% for the field.
I truly believe Lindor is gonna out finagle Judge, and I think he's gonna be a Met.
Well,
I
let's talk about something else that happened this week. The Mets made another different move. They picked up a guy who has a first name that starts with J and it's 4 letters long, last name that starts
Jose
with S and it's 4 letters long, but it's
Jose
not
Siri
Juan Soto.
Jose
It is
Siri
Jose Siri.
from Tampa
Now,
Bay.
from Tampa Bay. Now,
You
a
know
couple
the
things
Rays well. This is one of your teams.
a couple things about this I'd like to point out.
Please.
One, Siri and Soto are pretty familiar. They're friendly. Doesn't hurt. But the more important one to me is if you get Soto, you are thinking he's going to DH a good amount of the time and maybe he'll play corner outfield. Well, you just got one of the best defensive center fielders in the sport, which will only further help Soto to not have to play too much defense if he plays out there. So I think that is like a little underlying move that hey, if we're going to put Soto in right field and play him close to the line, we've got Siri who can cover the ocean.
So, question though, what happens with Brandon Nimmo?
Plays left field.
Oh,
I think Tyrone Taylor probably plays less, and then the days Soto DHs, those three can play. Tyrone can play right.
I agree. I don't think Tyrone is not going to play because what's his name, loves him. He came from Milwaukee.
Yeah,
So I don't think he's not going to play, but yeah, and Cubs, by the way, real quick, and by the way, I want to say this real quick before we jump to the Cubs because I want to say something about the Cubs. Um, you and I both would be joyous, happy people if the Mets took Soto from the Yankees. There's nothing that would bring us, I mean, that would bring us a lot of joy because we both dislike the Yankees, just saying. So
true.
let's put it out there, right?
Facts have been spoken.
Facts have been spoken. All right. Speaking of my favorite National League Central team, the Cubs. There you go. Some transactions happened this week, right? What'd the Cubs do? Yes, yes, Cubs. Go Cubbies.
He's only hibernating. He's not fully asleep.
Not fully asleep. What's going on with the
No,
Cubs?
it was a pretty surprising move before some of the non-tender deadlines coming up. Cubs picked up a pretty solid late inning reliever in Eli Morgan.
Excellent.
I mean,
That's a great pickup.
he is steady and he's pretty cost controlled for the next few seasons. So that was a really nice pickup.
That's a smart Cubs are smart with the money. I mean, you guys have I would call you guys like stealth killers. Like you guys, your players are not overpaid. They're not paid a lot, but they're good. You
Yeah,
know?
that was a much needed move. That the they gave away a bunch of games that they shouldn't have in April and May, and there's a power reliever right there
Pitching.
that will help solidify that. So
I think
I
it's
was
a great
pleasantly
move.
surprised to see that.
If I'm a Cubs player too, I'm liking that because, if you're up 4 or 5 runs and you need the reliever to come in and save your game. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating, I think, for a player to like have a great game, batting great runs, and then the reliever blow it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And he's
that's a
pitching the
very
postseason. He just had a couple real nice outings, even though they got bounced by the Tigers. He was solid. So
yeah.
that was solid.
He'll be solid next postseason for the Cubs.
Hopefully,
See,
from
see,
your
see,
your lips to
putting it out
our
there.
ears.
I'm putting it out there. Cubs and Mets in the postseason next year. That's fun. Oh, imagine this podcast going
Good start. That
crazy.
was a good start to it right there.
Putting it out there. Oh man. Anything else you want to talk about?
There's also been there are also some rumors that some teams are hearing that the Cubs are listening or pitching Cody Bellinger. So
Yeah, let's talk about that. I didn't want to bring it up, bro. But I'm hearing rumors about Bellinger and the Mets and the Cubs and doing something too. Like that's weird to me. Like I
yeah,
heard that.
it seems like that will be a lot of the teams that we mentioned a little bit prior who miss out on Soto could
Yeah.
be like a fallback option. So
So
I
why do you
don't
think do
I
you want
won't
to get rid of
expect I'm so I'm let's just say I'm skeptical at the
Okay.
reports because he has like it's yes, it's a short-term deal, but it's a good amount of guaranteed money for 1 year. I don't see the Cubs do trading him and eating 10 million, you know?
So he doesn't have a no trade clause?
He doesn't. He could technically be traded. Um
I would be sad for. I think he really meshes well with Chicago.
I
I
honestly I think it's more smoke. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I think that they're genuinely looking at all options.
mhm.
And I think it's possible that that is, let's say they have 5, 6 different avenues they could go. I think that is one of the ways they could go. I don't know if it's the one they will go, but I think it's certainly non-zero for
The Mets do
chance.
have real estate to offer the Cubs. That's for sure. I think this. I think what happens in the offseason. This is why I get so crazy sometimes. Is there's and this. You're a bigger baseball fan than even me. There's so much out in the air during this time that it's like you could panic on everything that comes up. It's like, oh, this is happening, and this. I don't know. We weren't friends, but a couple of years ago when the whole Bellinger, I mean not Bellinger, the whole Scherzer Verlander thing was going on before the trade deadline because there was going to be a strike, and you remember that period of time.
Yeah,
And when they just signed Scherzer, I was going nuts. I was excited at the time. I didn't know any
hard
better.
not to be. It's hard not to be excited when you sign a guy
um,
like that, no matter what.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like you said. I wouldn't put too
I
much.
think
What do you?
that I think that we've in the last few off seasons when we've had a guy of and Soto and Shohei are well above most everybody else. So let me just say that and be fair. But when you have guys like that, I think that a lot of teams who think that they have even a chance, like even the secondary teams we've mentioned, like the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Phillies, whoever, even if they think that there's a small chance they could get Soto, they might wait on other things until Soto officially decides.
Mm,
So I think we'll see a lot more smaller things happen, but until some of the bigger dominoes fall, some of those other guys might be waiting. The Bellinger trade options, the Anthony Santanders, those guys might have to wait. So we'll see.
yeah, there was. I agree. There's talk to Boris is basically, that's why Boris is on such a path to get Soto signed because that takes away from time of his other clients.
Yeah.
One of them, of course, being Pete Alonso. So, and
And
I think the more I think about it, Pete's going to be a Met. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
of that.
And
I'm
then
pretty.
also another Boris, Blake Snell, really
Oh,
quick. He's already taken meetings with Boston and LA and a few teams. I think he realizes he doesn't want to be sitting March 16th unsigned again and have to go through all that again. So
Yeah, and there was rumors about him in the Mets possibly. I don't want him.
yeah, he's a
I
guy
don't want him.
I'm fine skipping. He's not worth it.
He is so hot and cold is the
Yeah,
best way I can put it. He was hot and cold with the Rays. He was hot and
walks
cold
a
with the
ton of guys,
Padres.
pitch count
Yeah,
issues,
I just
injury issues.
he looks good on
Give me
a
Max or
headline.
Corbin.
Right, exactly. Corbin Burns is for me much better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or Max
absolutely.
Fried. I'd take him
Max
too.
Fried is excellent too. Absolutely underrated.
Or there's some good starters out via trade.
Absolutely. But yeah, I Snell is not worth the baggage that he comes with. And I mean, maybe if you have a really good pitching staff, maybe they can tame the shrew, so to speak. But there's a lot there that has to be worked with, and I think it's a confidence issue he has or something. It's psychological, it seems, because he has the mechanics. He's able to throw the ball. It's just when he gets in this period of time where he just is so unreliable. So yeah, we'll see what
Yeah, well,
happens.
we'll see. Yep.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that covers it for this week.
Wow, I was gonna bring up that Bellinger thing. I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't want to kind
Yeah,
of.
nah, there's gonna be rumors like that. I honestly would be more disappointed to see Nico go. So I'm
Oh,
hoping
Nico
that,
Warner?
yeah,
Really? I
you
hope
know,
not.
he's one of my guys. So
I do, and he's one of like I mean he was a rookie for the team. Anytime you have a rookie who's been with the team, he becomes one of your guys. I mean, how could he
yeah.
not? Like Ian Happ too. I mean, that's like Ian Happ being traded.
Well, Hap has a no trade clause, so I feel pretty
Yay.
good about that
He's
one.
pretty cemented in Chicago. I
Yeah,
mean, he has his connected roasters and he's pretty much he's Chicago now.
yeah.
Love Happ. All right, man. This has been Around the Bases, a pop culture and sports podcast with your host.
Charlie Seymour.
And I'm Tim Sternberg. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family, and we'll see you next week.
And keep basking in that Trivial Pursuit glory win.
I will do that, buddy.
Congrats.
Thanks, buddy. Bye, everybody.